I recently spent $5,000 on a wholesale order, and I want to take you guys behind the numbers to show you what I could potentially earn from this order. I'll show you how many units I bought, how much each unit cost, how much I'll list each unit for, the sales rank of each product, and I'll show you my potential profit. I'm making this video for you guys because I know we're all curious about what we could realistically earn from selling wholesale on Amazon FBA, and I want to show you. If you're new here, my name is Tom with Path to Billions. On this channel, I'm documenting my financial journey and I'm taking you along so we can succeed together. My channel currently focuses around Amazon FBA, so if you're looking to start or grow on Amazon, then make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Whenever I go to place a wholesale order, I put together a sheet like this. Normally it would have information on what the product actually is, but because I am sharing this online, I'm not going to be putting that information. What you will see on this sheet is the category the item is in, which all these are going to be toys because that's mainly what I'm buying right now. You have sales rank, you have the quantity I purchased, the purchase price, the total per unit, the list price, my potential profit, and potential profit total. While looking through the sheet, you might notice a couple different things. The first thing I want to point out is that these items are all separated into groups, and the reason for that is what are called case packs or assortments. Because these are toys, sometimes you'll get case packs or assortments that come with multiple different versions of the same toy in a pack. So if we take the first one as an example, these are actually Barbies. So in this case pack, I get 3 units of this individual Barbie, 2 units of this Barbie, and 1 unit of this Barbie. If you're currently doing retail or online arbitrage, you might realize some toys are worth more than others, and this is part of the reason why. When stores purchase products, they have to buy these case packs, so they get a ton of one product and not a lot of another one. That difference in supply and demand ultimately leads to the products that don't have enough supply being worth more than the ones that have an oversupply. That's why you'll see on this case pack that these two are worth $35 to $40, while this one's only worth $17.50. This just means you have to look at your cost and profit on a per case basis and don't look so much at the individual products. The other thing you guys might be noticing is that some of these products have pretty high sales ranks, but I'll explain that as we go through this list. I'm going to actually go through each of these items and give you a brief breakdown of why I decided to buy them. This first case here you can see is 100,000, and 100,000 toys isn't too bad. 300,000 is a little bit high, but the reason it is at 300,000 is actually because it's currently unavailable. So even though it has a higher sales rank, it should sell pretty quickly when I become the only seller available. The next one we have has an even higher sales rank, and the reason I decided to purchase this one is because there's only one case, so it's only 1 unit, so I don't mind waiting a little bit longer for a couple units. And you can see the profits aren't too bad, so for me it's worth holding on to and waiting. The next one has a sales rank of 140,000. I bought 20 units at a purchase price of $15.24. The list price is $59.99, and the potential profit is $13.39. This next case pack is actually pretty interesting because you can see these top 2 units are only going to net me about 47 cents per unit in profit. However, most of my profit for this case is coming from this 1 unit that is going to be making me $23 per unit. So if you look at this on an assortment level, you can see I'm spending $506.16, and for profit, I am making $308.64. So while individual units may not make me a ton of money, altogether the case is making me good profit margins. The other thing I'll do when I actually go to list this is I'll move some of the individual cost from these 2 units onto this other one. And the main reason I do that is simply to make it easier for my repricer to do its job. After going over the last couple cases, I think it's pretty easy to see why I bought this one. Decent sales ranks, decent margin, so it was a pretty easy decision to make. This next case pack is going to be really interesting to watch for over the next month because this one is actually a pretty big gamble. You could see these toys have really low sales ranks, but the thing is, Amazon is actually currently selling these for about $10 a piece. So if I sold these at $10 and I'm buying them for $7.34, I would clearly lose money. However, with the Keepa graph, you can see that occasionally Amazon does sell out of this product since it has such a low sales rank, and when Amazon sells out, the price quickly rises. So the goal is, when Amazon sells out, I have my stock already there. Mine can quickly sell at that higher price, and then hopefully I'll sell out of most of these by the time Amazon comes back in. Again, this is a pretty big gamble, but I figured for about $500, I might as well try it and see what happens. There's always lessons to be learned. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that one to see how it works out when I do the update. So this next one, again, wasn't a case pack, but you can see it has a sales rank of 70,000, which is pretty good in toys. I bought all 20 units that my supplier had. I spent about $50 per unit, which is almost $1,000 for all of them. You can see they sell for $154 a piece, and I'll make almost $54. So just on this one item, I'm actually making more money than I'm spending on it. This next one has a decent sales ranks in toys. You can see I bought 8 of them for $27.59. They are listed currently for $74.65. I have potential to make a profit of $23 each, which would be $188 total. Then, with these next 3, it's all pretty similar. Decent sales rank, decent margins, so they're a pretty easy decision to make. Now this last one, you could see it was actually a pretty good product. I'd buy 24 units for $45 each. I'd sell them for $180 each, and I'd make $86 per unit. But this one here actually ended up getting canceled because my supplier didn't end up having it in stock, so I'm going to remove this one. So you can see without that line, we have a purchase price of $3,081.67 and a potential profit of $3,036. So at this point you might be wondering, but the title of this video is buying a $5,000 wholesale order. And you would be correct. This was actually supposed to be a $4,000 wholesale order before that item got canceled. And this one actually having 1 unit damaged, I actually got a credit for those 25 units. And then I took that credit plus a little extra money. I went down and bought these items here. So you can see I bought 490 units. I spent a total of $1,715, and I have a potential profit $2,435.64. Again, similar to the other case assortments I was showing you, these 2 are negative and this one is barely any profit. But if you look at the total numbers, I'm actually making more money on the cases than I am spending. So even though I am losing some money on individual units, the sum total is going to be a net positive. And the reason I was willing to buy 490 units of this product is this is actually a product I've been buying from my supplier for a couple months now and selling consistently. So I decided to buy out the rest of their stock. So if we combine this 3,000 from up here plus this 1,700 down here, you're at almost $5,000 in total orders. So I recently just sent this shipment into Amazon. So now it has to get into Amazon. Amazon has to scan it in. It has to become active, and these items have to start selling. So I'm going to wait about a month and then come back to this first section of video and then give you an update. My goal with this batch is to ideally at least get my initial investment of about $4,700 back. And then the rest, some of these items are going to take a little bit longer to sell. But once I have my initial investment back, it is all profit essentially. So the very next thing you're going to see is me a month in the future, and I'll see you then. Alright, it's been a little over a month now. I finally got a haircut, and I wrote down all the numbers on the Excel sheet I was showing you earlier, so we go over the numbers to see what money I made back. Let me know down in the comments how much of the original $4,700 I spent you think I actually made back by now. Also, while you're down there, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button if you're liking the videos so far. When I was going over this last night and I was putting all the numbers in the Excel sheet, I think I ended up doing pretty well on this order. So let's just jump into it and look at the numbers. The first thing you're going to notice is that I mentioned previously that I was going to change some of the purchase costs to make it easier for my repricer. So for instance, this one here, you could see it went from $703 each to now $603 for these 2 and $1203 for this one. I do this just to make my repricer's job easier because I base my repricing off of percentage points of ROI or profit margin. So it's just easier when there's more margin built in. Now on this very first case pack up here, you can see I originally bought 6 Barbie dolls, and out of the 6 I sold 3. Now funny enough, the reason I didn't sell the other 3 is simply because Amazon actually lost them. So after I make this video, I'm going to have to call Amazon and figure out what was going on with that. But out of the 3 I did sell, you can see I sold these 2 for an average of $15.40. You can see I sold this one for $37. So altogether, I sold these for $67.80. My average profit for this one was $2.14, whereas my average profit for this one was $20.50. So my total profit was just about $25. And you can see over here on the right hand column is recouped cost. All this is my purchase price per item times how many items I sold. Next is this item that had a really high sales rank. I mentioned that I was willing to hold on to these for a little longer due to the high sales rank, since it was the only one my supplier had. But you could see out of the 3 units I bought, I sold 2 of them. One sold for $22.44. One sold for $26.49, which is a total sales price of about $48. You can see my average profit here, and that means a total profit of about $15. So this one was originally 20 units total. I actually ended up breaking 2 of these while shipping them out. But out of the 18 I did send in, I sold 9 of them. I sold them for an average of $58 a piece. I sold another 4 or 5 units, but they're still pending, so they haven't completed yet, so I didn't include them in this list. You can see it's a total of $522 out of an item that I purchased for $274 total. My total profit was $112, plus I recouped another $137 from cost of goods. Next up is another assortment of Barbies, and you can see I bought 36 units of this one, and I sold 9 so far. This one I bought 24 units and I sold 22. This one I bought 12 and I sold 9. And this one is actually another one that Amazon lost. They lost 3 on this one. They lost the other 2 of this one. So again, when I call them, I'm going to have to talk to them, figure out why my stock is missing, and see if I get a reimbursement for that. That is part of running an Amazon business, and you definitely want to keep track of your inventory. So if you notice pieces missing, you call Amazon and get a reimbursement, or possibly get the pieces found. But for this one, you could see, similar to what I was originally planning to list it for, this one was the higher one and these 2 were a little bit lower. So my total revenue from this item is $685. I have an average profit of anywhere from $2 to $7 a unit. And then my total profit is $155. And then you can see here my recoup cost as well. Next, we have this assortment, and I don't think I mentioned this previously, but the reason this is 4435 is because they actually shipped me 1 more of this unit and 1 less of this unit for some reason. It was an open case pack, but out of those units, I sold 1 of this one, 2 of this one, 3 of this one, and 4 of this one. You can see my average sales price was anywhere from $18 to almost $30 a piece. Then you can see my average profit was anywhere from $6 on the lower end to as much as $16.50 on the higher end. So my total profit from that 1 case pack is so far $133. This next one is actually the one I was telling you guys was going to be a big gamble. And you can see out of the 64 units I bought, I only sold 3 units so far. But I was correct in my assumption that once Amazon sells out, they were going to sell for a higher price. Amazon is selling these for $10 on average, but now that they sold out, I sold mine for $19.89 a piece. These are actually similar to the one I was talking about earlier, where they are starting to sell now. While I was filling out the sheet, I actually realized that Amazon sold out of a bunch of these, so I went in and repriced them to be priced competitively, and I've had a number of sales between this morning and last night. So these are starting to sell. So if I wait a couple more days, you would see a lot more sales on this page. Next is probably one of my best purchases out of this wholesale order. As I mentioned, 1 was damaged in transit, so I got a credit from my supplier for that. But the other 19 I sent in, I have completely sold. I sold them for an average of $128.94. I did originally plan on listing these for $154, but I ended up listing them for $129.99 each. And 1 sold because of my repricer for $109.99, but I manually repriced it back to $129.99, and I sold them all for that price. You can see my sales revenue just for this 1 item is almost $2,500, which is not bad. Average profit of $41, which is almost 100% ROI considering I spent about $50 per unit. Then I made a total profit off of just this 1 item of $781. And I recouped my purchase price of $942. This next one, I actually ended up not selling any units so far. So I'm keeping an eye on that because it doesn't have a buy box, so my repricer can't automatically reprice for me. So I'm having to manually reprice it. So you can see something interesting for this one is I bought 8 units of each one, but I sold 7 of this one, 9 of this one. And what happened was Amazon took one of these 8 and scanned it in as this one instead. But even though I sold them all, no one has complained that it was the wrong item. So I'm just going to run with it. And that means I still sold all 16 units. So you can see I sold them from an average of $16 to about $19. Average profit about $4.50 to $7. My total profit is about $88. This next one, I bought 24 units originally. So far I sold 22 out of those 24. And the interesting thing with this one is I didn't mention this when I first made this, but when I originally made this list, I was going to list it for $27.69. And then when I actually went to go list it, it ended up listing for almost $40 because the one person that had it in stock sold out. So I was actually able to sell it for a little over $10 more, and I was selling them for average about $40. Now the other thing interesting about this listing is whoever created this listing did a terrible job, and they have it listed as 2 different Barbies, but you choose which one you want, even though I listed it as a single Barbie. And most other people on the listing say it's only that 1 Barbie that it's supposed to be listed under. I only had 1 person complain about it, and Amazon refunded them and they returned the item. So again, just like that other one, I'm just going to run with it. I still made most of my money back, so it's pretty good to me. You can see I made an average profit of $21, whereas I only spent a little under $9, and total profit was $475, and I recouped almost $200. So it's almost $675 for an item I paid $208 for. This next one was a really good purchase. I wish they had more because this one sold out almost immediately. But you could see I bought it for $722, ended up selling them for an average of $28.56 each. Average profit per unit was $7.28 for $131 in total profit. Next is the big purchase that I mentioned brought me up to that $5,000 mark. And this is the one I took my credits and bought because it was an item I had previously sold. So you can see how the 490 units I originally purchased, I ended up selling 183 of them. You could see my average sales price was anywhere from $6 all the way up to $31. This is kind of similar to the other one where the price actually went up after I listed it. And what happened was my repricer actually maxed out the price because I was the only seller on the listing and people were still buying it even at that max price, so I let it ride. You can see my average profit was anywhere from 60 cents a unit all the way up to $20 per unit. And you can see I made a total profit so far of $1,000 off this product, and I recouped a total of $631 in cost of goods. So where does this leave me number wise? Well, if we scroll down, you can see I originally spent $4,646.06. This is actually slightly higher. I originally spent a little bit more, but then I had those credits I was mentioning. I estimate I was going to make a total profit of about $5,400. So far in sales off this one wholesale order, I did about $8,500 in sales. That equates to $3,000 in total profit, and I recouped $2,500 in purchase price. So off this whole order, between profit and recouped purchase price, I've gotten back $5,568.62, which means I've roughly earned $1,000 in profit off this order so far. That doesn't include the fact that I have another 300 or 400 units left in stock from this purchase order, especially these ones down here. So these are going to be selling over the next month or two. And you kind of look at it, since I already recouped my cost of goods and I made $1,000 profit, all the other money I make off this order is pretty much all profit. So what does this all actually mean? Well, if you look at it this way, I spent roughly $4,700 a little over a month ago, and within that month I recouped my initial $4,700 investment plus almost $1,000 in profit. With results like these, you could see how you could quickly snowball an Amazon business into a sizable full-time income. This snowball effect is exactly what I'm aiming to do over the next couple months, especially with Q4 coming up, and especially with the fact that I'm buying a lot of toys right now, is I want to build up my inventory so when Q4 comes in, I have a ton of inventory ready to sell. If this video has made you interested in starting up a wholesale business selling on Amazon, then you'll definitely want to check out this video up here about finding your first supplier. Once you find that first supplier and you want to send in your first shipment directly to Amazon, definitely check out this video I recently did down here. If you appreciate the transparency behind this video by showing all my numbers, then definitely drop a like. Make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be putting out even more content like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching.